The age-old debate, which is better, the stock wrench or the jag? Today I'll be battling the question of which is better. I'm going to do a basic overview of each wrench and then I'll give my own opinion. Let's begin with the wrench, the one that came first. The wrench is extremely easy to obtain, as it's just the default wrench that every engineer starts off with. The wrench's base damage when hitting a player is 65 damage per hit, while 195 on a critical hit, meaning that you can two-shot 4 of the main classes in the game. To buildings, it takes 2 hits to take off a sapper, and it repairs 102 damage per hit. And the swing rate is 0.8 seconds. This wrench is decent enough in close range attacks, so in game modes like medieval mode, if you want to play NG, I'd recommend either this wrench, the Southern Hospitality, or the Gunslinger. But to be honest, why would you even be playing engineer in medieval mode in the first place? Now, onto the Jag. Initially released in 2010, the Jag is an unlockable wrench for the engineer, obviously. It's essentially a wrench for engineers who need to get their buildings up quickly, as the Jag has a 30% increase to building construction, and a 15% faster firing speed. Yes, I said firing speed, it's what the stats say in game. For the downsides, the Jag's base damage to a player is 49 damage or 146 damage when hit with a crit. Unlike the wrench, it takes 3 hits to take off a sapper and it repairs only 81 damage, compared to the wrench's repair rate of 102 HP. This is because the Jag is actually a weaker wrench, but it makes up for it with the fact that the attack interval is 0.68 seconds, a slightly faster swing rate than any other wrench in the game. Long story short, the Jag lets you build up your sentry nest quicker and it lets you upgrade your buildings much faster, but you have to make the sacrifice by not being able to tank damage as easily, while the wrench is the opposite, letting you tank more damage while sacrificing the construction speed that your Jag provides. So now, the question, which is better? Well, there isn't a definitive answer, both are better than each other, because at the end of the day, it all just comes down to personal preference. One person might like the wrench better than the Jag, and vice versa. I myself prefer using the wrench. Okay, yeah, I can't get buildings up quicker, but I'd rather give up the speed of the Jag than to give up a point quicker. And I hate the fact that it takes 3 hits to take off a sapper instead of just 2. It makes sense, but I just don't like it. Don't get me wrong, the Jag is good. It's really good. But in my honest opinion, I just think the wrench is better. And it's basically the go-to for MVM. Using the Jag in MVM is basically worthless because you can simply just use a canteen to instantly get all your buildings up to level 3. And you can also upgrade the wrench to have a faster swing rate, whilst also keeping the regular stats. Although I do think the Jag is better on offense, especially when playing as battle NG. It's better to use the Gunslinger, but it's still really fun. I don't know why, but I just play better with the wrench. Also, I prefer the way it's designed, especially when the wrench is Australian. I posted a poll on Twitter asking which wrench people prefer, and most people prefer using the Jag than the wrench. I'm all for opinions, but you are wrong! This whole debate is like the Tomislav vs minigun debate. While the Tomislav is more accurate, the stock does more damage up close, making it more of an effective killer. The same can be said for these two wrenches. While the Jag can get things up quicker, the wrench is more reliable in more ways than one. Okay, now the obligatory outro. Yeah, like, subscribe. Look at this graph. Yeah, comment. Comment what you think. And, yeah, bye.